Hi everyone! You can probably tell from the title that this video is going to be about how I make my notes. I'm also going to share with you all some of the techniques I use to make my notes more effective for learning. Before I sit down to study, I make sure that I have all the supplies I would need to make my notes so that I don't get distracted looking for a pen or pencil at the last moment. If you saw my previous video, you'd know that I like to make my notes in my own language rather than straight up textbook language. This technique always helps me to understand what I'm learning in a much better way. If you want to know more about how you can do that, please check out my last video. After I've read my textbook thoroughly, I start making my notes. The first thing I do is to make a really bold header with a brush pen. This helps me identify my notes when they're all bundled up in my binder. Next, I make the subheading in capital letters, usually with a marker. I make my notes in point form as it helps me to break down large amount of information into smaller chunks. I use bullet points to do this. With the help of arrows, I write down any examples or extra information needed for that particular point. I make my subpoints using downward arrows indented a little towards the right to help me differentiate them from the main point, which is in bullet form. To make important information pop out, I use some kind of decorations. So for example, I box my definitions quite a lot, or sometimes I put them in a bubble. I also use tables to differentiate different topics. A really good method to summarize the topic is to make flowcharts. I simply write the key points in each box and use this flowchart for revision. I also use symbols in my notes a lot. This just helps me take notes faster and in a more precise way. For example, I would write the definition for glucostatic hypothesis like this. When blood sugar is decreased, hormones are released and hunger increases. I use a highlighter to highlight the important information and the key points. So this is it for this video. I showed you guys the basic structure that I use to make my notes. I find this method minimal and effective. If you liked this video, please hit the thumbs up button down below and please subscribe if you want to see more. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram. My handle is psychandchill. Hope you liked this video. Bye!